I accrued $20,000 worth of interest, which I paid, and then I paid an additional approximate $25,000, and I still owe very close to what I had started with.
Look at that. Hey guys, AJ here back on the Loan for you, and guys, we're going to talk about student loans again, because guys, these chicks are cooked, right? You might ask yourself, AJ, how cooked are they, right? Guys, here we have a pharmacist. She's $250,000 in debt for student loans. Absolutely insane. Cooked. Guys, she's never going to be able to pay this debt off. You know? And this is the result of this F-ness dream. All this...
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore.
So guys, we'll get into this. Before we do, like, subscribe, drop a comment. Guys, I have a second channel called 50304s. That is linked in the description, so please go and check that out. Guys, check out the playlist at the end. Join my Discord. And guys, I'm offering memberships now, so hit the join button or the link in the description, because memberships really help the channel out. Guys, thanks to all you guys that are already members, man. I really appreciate that. And let's get into this.
Let's talk about the student loan crisis from a pharmacist perspective. Hi, I'm McKaylee. I am a clinical pharmacy specialist, meaning that I got my doctorate in 6 years, and then I completed 2 years worth of residency to gain my specialist title. I did previously work in a hospital. I now work remotely online. But I owe approximately $250,000 in student loan debt.
Look.
Unfortunately, I'm a part of the generation that really did not qualify for government loans. My parents do not make a bajillion dollars. They could not contribute $60,000 a year to my pharmacy education. That meant that if I wanted to get my doctorate, if I wanted to obtain or realize my goals to become a pharmacist, I needed to take out private loans, which I could go on an entire rant about how predatory that system and process has been for me. But I just wanted to kind of shed light on what it's like living in my generation. I currently still owe around $240,000. I paid $20,000, which it accrued in interest while I was in residency, and my loans were frozen, meaning I didn't have to make payments because I was too poor as a resident to actually make those payments. But I accrued $20,000 worth of interest, which I paid, and then I paid an additional approximate $25,000, and I still owe very close to what I had started with. Both my government loan and my private loan are anywhere from like 10 to 11 year payment plans.
Damn.
So not the worst. It's like 20 plus years, but certainly not the best. I've known people that have dedicated 3 to 5 years of living with roommates, or maybe a spouse has helped them, or maybe they're just doing it on their own and living at home. I do not necessarily have that option. My parents are in a completely different state. Otherwise, I could potentially live with them to save a little bit more money. Now, I know what you're thinking. You are a pharmacist, you make decent money, and I would argue that that is semi-true. For the sake of this conversation, I'm going to try and use the most like round numbers I possibly can, just to kind of give you and gauge a good idea of how I live month to month. So I make a decent salary, but by the time government, taxes, health insurance, yada yada gets taken out of my paycheck, I see approximately $7,000 a month. Sounds like a lot of money. It is technically a lot of money. But I spend $3,000 of that $7,000 in student loan payments a month.
$3,000 a month on student loan payments. Guys, look at that.
You stupid woman.
Guys, come on. How stupid can you be? $3,000 a month. And guys, first of all, a couple points, right? Do you think that she voted for politicians that would lower the amount of taxes she has to pay every month? No, right? Of course she votes for the high tax people, right?
You stupid woman.
And then guys, you know she's one of the chicks where she would say, oh, I would never date a guy who didn't have a college degree. So she's paying $3,000 a month, whereas Steve is making, $85K being a plumber with no debt. with no $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month is like a really good mortgage in a nice area. Look at that.
$2,000 goes to my private student loans, and $1,000 a month plus will start because of the big beautiful bill. Supposedly I'm supposed to put 15% of my discretionary income towards my government student loans. I would usually say that that's not a huge problem, except for the fact that I'm already putting about 30% of my discretionary income towards my private student loans so that I'm not in crippling debt for the rest of my life. So about 45% or more of my income currently is being put towards student loans. So of that $7,000, we're now down to about 4 a month, still a decent amount of money. But currently rent is egregious. I don't live in big cities like Tampa and Orlando. I live in the outskirts, and I'm still paying $2,000 a month in rent, and that doesn't include like electric, utility.
And you probably don't have a roommate, right, guys?
You stupid woman!
You aren't renting a room like most guys would to save money.
You stupid woman!
Wi-Fi, water, frickin' valet trash that nobody asked for but gets added to the bill every single month. So that $7,000 very quickly went down to $2,000 that I live off of a month. I would still say that that's a decent amount of money, that there are probably people hurting a lot more than myself, but I still have, a car payment, all those other utility, electric, to pay for, along with food, which food's gotten insanely expensive in my opinion, and I'm very unfortunately gluten-free, so I don't have a choice. My groceries are 2 to 3 times more expensive than the average individual who's buying groceries, and I promise you most months I'm breaking even. I don't have a huge savings or 401k. I'm not like investing.
Can you imagine, guys, taking home, did she say $7,000 or $8,000 a month? She said in between $7,000 or $8,000 a month take home, right? Yeah. And she lives check to check. Guys, I know that your arms might be a little bit sore from playing the violin, right? It's all her own choices, and all these are excuses. I'm gluten-free, right? Please.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Guys, I want you to stop right now. And I want you to put the opposite choices that she should have made, right? Put the choices she should have made to make her life better, right? Getting a roommate or renting a basement apartment, not getting her PhD in pharmacy or her MD or whatever. Guys, you can be a pharmacist with a lot less schooling. Not taking this work at home job where she's probably making less than she could make because she wants to work from home and have a work-life balance. Come on, guys.
A pot-smoking slut.
Clown world, right? Cooking her own food, Not having a new car, saving cash and buying a clunker. You know what I mean? There's tons of things that she can probably do to save money.
Like everybody on the internet tells you to invest. I don't spend a lot of my free time out and about spending money on food, on Starbucks, whatever some of those other petty arguments are. I can't typically afford to go out with my friends, and if I do, I get something very cheap off the menu that's gluten-free, so I'll put that one in air quotes. And of course, always have 20% to tip your servers. You should tip your servers. But I just don't. I don't even have, I would say, a lot of friends right now, just because a lot of social interactions previously, you would go out and meet people and do things, but that typically involves some sort of extra money or expenditures to do that. Even if it's just gas to go to another location, that's not the dream. This is not the American dream that I feel like was promised to me or that I'm living. So if you're around the age of 27 and you're just absolutely frustrated with the cost of living and you feel
blah, 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 blah. But guys, she also could have a husband. Because she's probably in her late 20s or early 30s, guys. So she has a redhead, and we all know that redheads age like shit, right? But guys, she should have been married. Have 2 incomes, And guys, this is why you have to disqualify any of these chicks that are financially unattractive, right? Meaning they have student loan debt, they live check to check, they're stressed out, because they're gonna make that stress your stress. Because ultimately, guys, the reason why she's living like this, so she might not say this on the internet, is deep down inside, that little voice that comes out more when she's drunk off a box wine and petting her cat says, I expect a man to swoop in and pay my bills.
Here I come to save the day.
Cooked. 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 I blame the universities 100%. They just raised tuition. Look at that. Schools are only part of this. Blame state and federal governments for slashing education funding. Look at that. This guy says the college that I went to in 96 was a nice humble state school. Tuition was affordable. For 20 years, it's a small city and tuition has quadrupled. And that's because these women bought the college lie, hook, line, and sinker. Yes, us guys, I'm Gen X, Generation X, and millennials, even young boomers bought the college lie, but it wasn't really that big of an issue until Generation X and then millennials, right? But a lot of guys woke up. We at least majored in fields that were going to make us money, or I have friends of mine who even, they dropped out early and said, screw this, and now guys aren't going to college at all. Look at that. This other chick says, I'm spending 30% of my income on student loans. Damn. Look at that. This chick says, I'm in the medical field. I make 6 figures. I have a second job because my loans are going from $300 to $1,000 a month. Cooked! Cooked! Cooked, cooked, cooked. But all right, you guys. I appreciate you guys. Guys, stay away from these broads. Guys, don't go to college unless you absolutely have to. And if you do, major in science, technology, engineering, math. Get a job and work while you're in college. Go to an affordable college, guys. Even consider joining the military or going to a place who will pay for your college. Make sure you have a paid internship. That's how you know you have a good field. It's because they'll pay you to have an internship and guarantee you a job after school. Simple. Bye, guys. Appreciate you.